Yuga 5112 Vikuti Nama Samvatsara Vasanta Ritu Chaitra Masa Krishna Paksha Chavati Vishakha Nakshatra Shukravasara, the second day of April 2010, Friday. Welcome you all to the Maitri Milan. A unique text is Bhagavad Gita because though the nature of Arjuna is something, the nature of Krishna is something, the teachings of Bhagavad Gita is for everybody. Everybody can pick up the information from Bhagavad Gita and continue his progress in the spiritual journey. The situation may be the battlefield, and the person who is asking the question may be a Rajasic person like Arjuna, who really needed only Karma Yoga. Krishna, as a response to Arjuna's questions, takes up all the different parts of yoga, exhausts. In fact, there is no aspect of yoga which is not anywhere else other than what Bhagavad Gita covers. That is the uniqueness about the whole text of Bhagavad Gita. That's one of the reasons why Gita can be a text which is popular for every section of the population. Yesterday we were saying that there are essentially two types of people, introvert and extrovert. And people who are extrovert in nature, predominantly they are the persons who go for the method of discipline, abhyasa. And the people who are introvert in nature, they are the people who go for the practices called Vairagya. Vairagya is wrongly interpreted as giving up everything and going away. At one place, Krishna even suggests that you cannot give up and go away. Only way that you can give up everything is when you die. Even when you die, you cannot go away because the vasanas still continue with you. Samskaras still follow you. So essentially, that giving up means giving up the outside and go deep inside, go to your nature. That's what is the idea of Vairagya. Method of Abhyasa has its own benefits, and the crown of the methods of Abhyasa is this Raja Yoga. Discipline is the method of Abhyasa, roughly translated into English, but Abhyasa has very deep meaning. It is orderliness, it is discipline, and also Abhyasa is keeping everything in harmony. That's also the part of Abhyasa. Now, the question comes, whenever there is a discipline aspect comes, immediately there are two different positions that one can take. The moment there is any idea of discipline comes, two positions that are involved. One position is the position where you are under discipline, and the other is the position where you are disciplining. That means to say, if you see the discipline as a ladder, the lower end is what you feel you are. That means you are under discipline, and somebody is on top of you disciplining. Any moment the discipline comes, this is what happens. We start thinking that, do I really require discipline? Why should I be under discipline? Because the moment that you start imagining yourself to be one who is under discipline, immediately the psychologist says that, look, this discipline seems to be opposite to my freedom. When this discipline is not imposed, then I will be free. So it is opposite to freedom, and freedom is supposed to be our nature. Then why you are asking us to discipline? Thinking that freedom and the discipline, they are one opposite to the other. But then what Gita suggests us is that the idea of discipline is not opposite to the nature, but it is your own nature. In fact, not only it is your nature, in the whole nature you can see the discipline, orderliness. Like the way that you say, the discipline that is there in a coconut tree, anywhere in the world that you go, you see the coconut tree having similar structure similar leaves, similar positions, so that even if you see from 5 miles away that you can recognize that it is a coconut tree. So that means to say there is that orderliness, there is a discipline in the nature itself. The birds have such a wonderful discipline in their nature. Every bird has its own specific features. Anywhere in the world, it is something similar to that. So you can see the discipline in the nature, in the God's creation. Everywhere in the God's creation there is discipline. Is it not the same thing with the human being? Also has the same features in the human being, which is discipline. Another important aspect is that discipline is not weakness, the discipline is strength. Discipline itself is strength. Like for example, you go to the city market, there are hundreds of people who are walking around haphazard in different directions. It looks like that it is a crowd. Whereas the same people, if they march in a discipline, rank and file, one behind the other, dressed in the same way, then you can see that it is like the way that on Independence Day in front of Red Fort that people are marching. That shows the strength of the nation. So the moment that you have a discipline, there is so much of strength involved in that. The discipline can achieve a lot of things, whereas when there is no discipline, you cannot achieve that. In the traffic, you can see where there is a discipline, traffic can move. Where there is no discipline, traffic cannot move. Discipline has its lot of advantages, and in the nature, that's why this discipline is very much there. You look at the birds, how disciplined way that they fly on the sky. They are much more disciplined than human beings. So the discipline is everywhere in the nature. The discipline is strength. The discipline is part of the nature. Human being also, God has given us this discipline. In fact, when you look at a child, you can see the discipline in the child. Gets up exactly at the same time, takes food at the same time, and then goes back to the bed at the same time, unless until you interfere with that discipline of the child. In fact, the first time that you interfere with the discipline of the child, the natural discipline that is there in the child, is the first year birthday. The child has absolutely no idea that it is the birthday. It is not the child's birthday, but basically it is a birthday party for the parents. They create all that chaos there. They invite all over the town. Alright, you want to make a child's birthday, child should enjoy. Your idea is on a birthday, child should enjoy. Call some 10 children. Let the children play together, eat together, enjoy together. But then that is not the idea. You go around the whole town, invite everybody. And there are people like me who are busy otherwise. You go to the child's birthday at 10 o'clock in the night, because that is the time that you are free. Not because that the child birthday can happen only between 5 and 6 or 7 at that time, and 8 o'clock is the time when every child goes to bed nicely. But then you interfere with that. The poor child, having spent the whole evening with everybody excited, goes to sleep, and then because that we go there, mother wakes up the child. If the child does not wake up, takes some cold water and puts on the face of the child and wakes up, drinks it. Look at the way that we create an indiscipline in children. And after all those things, these cloth shops are also wonderful, that they prepare new clothes for the children with all starch on that. And we want to see the child in that starch cloth. Now, at that 10 o'clock in the middle of the night, you wake up the child, put on this clothes. It's like very close to hell for the child. And this is what happens. You introduce indiscipline this way. Everything from outside interferes with our discipline. So that's how indiscipline is something which has come from outside. And not only that, there are several other things which also add to this indiscipline. Like for example, the birds get up exactly at the same time, any day, anywhere in the world, and then they come back home exactly at the same time. This is what is the natural discipline that is there in the whole nature itself. Similarly, a child also gets up, whether it is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, any day, gets up at the same time. There is nothing like that. But look at the way that our culture has interfered with our discipline. If it is weekday, we get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, rush to the work, rush to the school or whatever it is. But the moment weekend comes, you can see the people on Saturday or Sunday don't get up until 11, 12, 1 o'clock. Why? Waking up is exactly depends upon the day, nocturnal time. It does not depend upon whether it is Sunday or Monday or Tuesday. In fact, that's one of the reasons why you come to Prashanti, every day it is exactly the same thing. There is discipline. So the discipline is essentially to go back to your nature. Nobody is giving the discipline from outside. And this way that when you are disciplining, you are like the king. In fact, in Bhagavad Gita, 6th chapter, Krishna says, your body is like a whole city, which has so much of population. Each cell within your body is like an individual. And then you just imagine that all these cells, they start working on their own. If they have their own consciousness and they go move around haphazard, your whole body becomes like a city market. So you are somebody who is supposed to be the master. It is like the way that you have a chariot where it is tied by so many different senses, so many different horses, and then each horse is drawing the cart in its own way. There is no master standing there. And then you have to be the master there. And this is what you are, after all, the master for this body. That is the idea of let the discipline come from within you and you are disciplining. In fact, the moment you think that the discipline is thrusted from outside, there is no improvement. In fact, you are eagerly waiting when will you get out of the discipline. However important that discipline may be, however useful that discipline may be, however benefit that the discipline might have given you, still psychologically, because you have thought that discipline is thrusted from outside, you would like to get out of that discipline one day or the other. In fact, people come for Prashanti, Arogya Dhama for the sake of benefit with the help of yoga, hypertension, diabetes and all that, stay for 15 days and before going, they come to me very happily. They say, sir, we are going tomorrow, today. And I'm so wonderful. This place is so nice. Everything is very good. In fact, I never thought that I could get up and see morning rising of the sun. But Prashanti first time showed me the sunrise. Blah, 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 all those things. And look at the benefit that I got. I gave up all the tablets. Now my health is fine. Diabetes is not there. Hypertension is not there. This place is like heaven. Dr. Nagarjuna is like God. And the people here are like wonderful angels. They work so wonderful. Everything is fine. I can tell 10 others. Wonderful. But then I have one question for you. I said, what is that question? How long should I do yoga? Why that question comes? You would like to get out of this. However beneficial it may be, still you would like to get out of it. Why? Because psychologically you thought that this discipline is coming from outside. It is not coming from outside. It is coming from within. In fact, all these people who are there in Prashanti, all the teachers and all the therapists, everybody who is there is trying to help you to develop a discipline from within you. They are not trying to force anything. When it is forced out from outside, it is a military. When it is forced from inside, that's what is you. When it comes from within, it is you. And nobody can bring that discipline from within you. You have to develop your discipline. Look at the way that our yogis have practiced yoga in Himalaya. You mean to say that somebody asked them to do something? No. On their own they are sitting. In fact, if you go around Himalayas, you can see several people are sitting there under the tree doing their discipline. Do not even worry about whether anybody comes and sees them or not. In fact, once I so happened that when I went to, during my last trip to Badrinath, Kedarnath, we happened to go to a place which was supposed to be a Vyasashrama, something like that. And then there was one teacher and then 3 students, and they were studying. They were reading something. And then we went there, 6 of us. They did not even raise their head and look at us. And then there was a cave, and then we went inside, and the cave, nothing but there was a mat and there was a pillow, and they sleep there, get up outside the cave, sit down, and then they read their text, nothing beyond that. What a wonderful thing. That means to say, all the discipline comes from within. When the discipline is thrusted from outside, it is like a pressure. when the discipline comes from within, it is like the way that a caterpillar becoming a butterfly. When the discipline comes from within, it is like the way that a raw fruit becoming a ripe one. The whole purpose of Bhagavad Gita, the whole purpose of yoga is to see how you can ripen yourself into. And whatever that you ripen into is not something which is outside, it is your own nature. This is what Swami Vivekananda said, each soul is potentially divine. We have that divinity within us. And all these practices are to see that how you can manifest this divinity within in the form of your energy outside, peace, tranquility, harmony. This is what really has to happen in the form of discipline. Because you are the master and the discipline comes from within you, this is called as Raja Yoga. The day it really becomes, your start of yoga begins the day when you can do it on your own. The day when you feel that you are doing on your own, that is the day that yoga begins. Before that, even for 10 years, you are staying Prashanti, you are staying in an ashram. But if the discipline has not come from within you, then you have not yet started yoga. So essentially, when we say Raja Yoga, it has to start from within. It is you who are responsible for this Raja Yoga. And here Krishna does not really require any yoga for himself. And what Arjuna requires is Karma Yoga in the battlefield. But look at the elaboration at which Krishna goes to explain to us at various aspects of this inner discipline that comes from the Raja Yoga. Shito deshe pratisthapya sthiramasana astitaha. Like that, Krishna starts from the level of simple body level. At ordinary simple body level. We have so much of different training, different aspects of it at body level. But then, what Krishna insists something different. And it is not opposite to whatever the training that we have, but it is complementary to the training that we have. Today that we have various aspects of physical exercise that are there, they are there to see that the muscles are strengthened, your muscles become strong. You are able to develop your stamina to a lot of things, that is fine, that's okay. But then more important thing is that can you also calm down your body? Can you also relax yourself? Can you also be in such a way that you can sit down steadily without getting disturbance? We have the stories, such stories from the Puranas where a saint like Valmiki was sitting in such a way that his name was really not Valmiki, Karunakara was his name. But then he was sitting so peacefully, quietly, without movement for such a time that the white ants built a big hill on him. So ant hill on him. So that's why his name of Valmiki has come. The same way it is said, the recent times also, Ramana Maharshi went out of his house in search of who am I, sitting in the Shiva temple, leaning against the wall for such a long time that behind his back, the white ants built a nest. So that kind of a thing, such a long time that they could sit without movement. Does it happen with us like that? In fact, when we sit down like that, maybe in 2 minutes your leg starts paining and then you shift the leg. Other 2 minutes, next 2 minutes, other leg starts paining and you again change it. Before all these things, then your back starts aching. Now you would like to lean against something so that back does not pain. Then with all those things that you take care that you support the body properly, then suddenly you develop an itching at the back of the body, such a place where you can't even reach. You mean to say, really there is an itch? Really there is something problem at the body level? There is nothing. It's all that your body-mind complex is working on you. So that it distracts you. It calls your attention. This body has become like a spoiled child who constantly catches for mother's attention. It is like that we have spoiled ourselves. That's the reason why we need to do all these activities so that you can leave the body aside and go deep, go inside. Shichau deshe pratisthapya. This seat that you sit should not be neither too high nor too low. In fact, yoga is a very, very dynamic, balanced state. It's a very lively, balanced state. One might say that you can really fix it so that it will be balanced. No, it is like a tightrope walk. You know what happens in the tightrope walk? There's always a possibility of going this way or that way, and the person who is standing on the rope is holding this, balancing himself in such a way so that he doesn't go too much on this side, too much on that side. That's what is liveliness. So one has to be very lively, at the same time one has to be balanced. Neither too high nor too low is an idea of psychologically you don't feel that you are so totally cut off from the ground, or you are so deeply engrossed in the ground. So this way when you position yourself, the position that they have given it in such a way that these positions will help you to see that how you can rise yourself from the body level and you can go deeper. There are different places where you can control yourself. In fact, the disturbances in our system can occur in so many different ways. And these centers through which the discipline energy flows away makes you disturbed. The same centers are the centers where the energy also can be controlled. Like for example, talking center is the center through which that you spend your energy in the form of gossiping. The same center, talking center, is where you control and practice mauna. You can control your talking by controlling at that center. So mauna is one of the very important practices of Rajyoga. Let us not speak for a day. Let us not speak for half a day. Many times we do this kind of exercise in Prashanti, saying that all afternoon, after the lunch time, till the next morning, let us not speak. When you don't speak, then you realize the force behind speaking. Until you until you attempt to maintain the silence, you will not know the force behind speaking. You would like to speak. As long as you are speaking, you really do not know the force. You control it, then you realize how much of pressure that is there behind the talking. Way back when this Prashanti was very small, we only had this Ashwini building. About 20-30 people could stay. And during those days, somebody from South India came to us, said, it's a beautiful place, natural place, and there are no population, it's a really quiet place. We would like to have a spiritual retreat. Those days I was there in Vasishta, so I said, okay, where are you coming from? They said that there's some Swamiji and some South Indian town, and then we, group of people, we would like to come, stay for about 5-6 days, we would like to have a spiritual retreat. I said, fine. And we are also interested in the spiritual journey, so that's why I asked him that already your Swamiji is there and he may be giving some discourses or some picnic on some text or something like that. Can we also attend? Then they said, no, because the simple reason is that Swamiji does not give any discourses. If he were giving discourses, he could have attended. But he does not give discourses. I said, why? I said, he is practicing mauna. Since how long has he been practicing mauna? He said, for the last 20 years he has not spoken. I felt really great because I could sit here without speaking for 20 minutes, and here is a Swamiji who did not speak for 20 years. He must be really great. And okay, let him come so we can have this thing. Some 20 people, they came in the van and then got down, and special chair for Swamiji, they brought it and Swamiji sat it on that. As soon as Swamiji sat it, they have a bundle of slates and pen and all that, whatever it is, and then Swamiji was giving instructions, what time he should have his breakfast, what should be there for breakfast, what time his lunch, and when he should have his coffee, then he should have this. I was just wondering at the whole thing, did Swamiji really practice silence? You see, what he has done is, the aspect of talking he converted into writing. You change from one center to another center does not mean that you have become a yogi. Like for example, somebody shouts out of anger, is bad fellow, whereas somebody converts that shouting from the mouth, he changes it into his hand, he gives blows. We mean to say that he is practicing mauna. That is not the way. That means from one center you shift the energy to the other center. It is not the purpose of yoga. The purpose of yoga is to see that the forces that are there working behind that center, is there a way that I can stop these forces acting? That means to say, I don't have any instructions to give. I am fine. I practice Mauna not externally but deep inside. When you deep inside practice Mauna, that means you have no instructions to give. Which means what? Any situation I am happy. I am satisfied with any situation. I don't have to give any instruction. Whatever time that you give your breakfast, whatever time that you give lunch, I am not bothered about it. What is the item that you give for the one? I am satisfied all the time. This is what is the real freedom. A Mauna practice that we do has to give you the freedom. I am a member of a society in Bombay which is called the Mouth and Foot Painters Association. You know, these are the people who participated in the wars and then they lost their limbs. They cannot work anymore. But then they have to maintain their livelihood. So this association helps them to train themselves to do some painting by keeping the brush in their mouth or in their foot so that they do the painting. And these paintings and the greeting cards that they publish out of that, they sell it, make money for that association. So this is what they do. That means to say the painting with the help of hand is converted into painting through the mouth. That's why they are called as Mouth and Foot Painters Association. Does not mean that they claim that they are yogis. So when these people do not claim that themselves to be yogis, why a person, he stopped talking and converted it into writing, should be considered as a yogi? In fact, at least if you talk, you can be clear. When you write, you are creating more confusion. So, the real controlling of the senses is not to convert the energy from one center to another center, but to see that how there is no inner restlessness forces. Be peaceful. When Krishna says you sit down peacefully, that means there is no more restlessness within my body. That's what is the idea. The same thing comes in the Upanishad when Kena Upanishad says that you stop seeing. What we can do at best is we can close our eyes. But have we really stopped seeing? No. The seeing is still going up. When you open your eyes, you see the light outside. When you close your eyes, you see the darkness inside. But still seeing is going up. But then what really Kena Upanishad says is, stop seeing. Whether you either open or not, you should not be seeing. That's what is the real control. Eyes at least have the eyelids that you can stop seeing. You can close your eyelids. Ears have lids, but then they don't close. In fact, on the other hand, when you don't want to hear, you hear much more than what you want to hear. Honestly speaking, like you are taking a walk in a park, and then you would like to sit down, take a little rest, and there is a bench and a couple of others are sitting, and then they are talking, and then you want to sit, also share that bench. They say, we are talking something personal, you don't worry about it. You don't want to really listen to it, but your ears are always there, what they are talking. See, you cannot even control this small little simple thing. How do you discipline? This is what is real discipline. Only person who does not, who can stop his hearing is Mullah Nasruddin. You know, those days when all this electronic bars, communication was not there, it was through the crossbar system that you call from Hyderabad to Bangalore. You call the number, from Bangalore somebody calls Hyderabad, there is an operator in between, jacks the phone and then says, hello, hello, Mullah from the other side and my friend from here, how are you doing, sab khaige, Eid Mubarak, everything is fine. After initial exchanges of goodwill, then this person asks, yes Mullah, what about that money that you borrowed? Immediately from the other side, Mullah said, hello. Said, what about the money that you borrowed? Mullah said, hello. Can you not hear? Yeah, now I can hear. Tell me what it is. Said, so everybody is fine, everybody is fine. School, your son joined college? Yeah, he joined college. Yeah, that's all right, but I just wanted to ask you about what about the money that you borrowed? Mullah immediately said, hello. Then meanwhile, the operator comes on the scene and said, sir, the lines are clear and the weather is fine and the sound is very clear. What is happening? Then Mullah replied, I don't know what is happening. I can hear something, but suddenly I don't hear. But then she lady says that, look, I can hear so clearly, so you must also be hearing. Then he asked, what is that you heard? And she said, yes, you know the money that you borrowed, 5,000 rupees. Did you hear clearly? They said, yes. Then you give it back. You see, this is what? Where you don't want, you should not. You say that the senses are yours, but are you really the master? How much are you the master? That's what is the idea. So much that you should be the master, that when you don't want to eat food, the food is there in front of you, you are hungry, but you do not even salivate. That much of control when you discipline, which is after all yours. And that's what is really Raja Yoga. Raja Yoga means you are the master, you establish that you are the master. Let the outside world, let your emotions, let the anger, jealousy, hatred, greed, these things drive you. Let your divinity within you. That's what let it drive. That's what is the idea of Raja Yoga. When Krishna says these disciplines, it is a discipline which is not Krishna's recommendations from outside, but they are the suggestions so that we can follow. That's why Patanjali, when he starts Yoga Sutra, he starts with that simple thing, Atha Yoga Anushasana. That means to say, this is something which is an orderliness that we need to bring about within ourselves. Let us try to get away from the chaos that we are created around us. Now, just going away from the discipline is one important advantage of that is, only when you go out of discipline, you know the importance of the discipline. You know the strength in the discipline. All those things when you practice for yourself. A person who practices this regularly yoga, a natural discipline that comes from within, is a person who does not get easily disturbed by the world outside. You can see very clearly people who are regularly practicing yoga on their own are the persons do not get into depressions, do not get into mental disturbances, mental patients and all that. Where there is no discipline in the society, where it is in that society we require a lot of psychiatrists. Where the discipline is coming from within, you don't require a psychiatrist because you are the divinity yourself. Thank you.